Liam, is there some price gouging going on? This is the phrase you taught me, which is that some of these retailers are just taking the mickey out of us and they're going, do you know what, everyone expects the prices to go up. Let's stick another 50p on a loaf of bread.
There's so much economic news around today. We've got public sector pay, private sector pay, unemployment, but it's right. Prepayment meters, it's right. We're going to focus on food inflation right now. There's a huge contrast between the fact that retail food prices are still going up faster than general inflation and wholesale food prices on global markets. They've come down, according to the UN's Food and Agriculture Index, for 12 months in a row.
Well, doesn't that prove my point?
I think there is a lot of retailers, big retailers, who compete on some things, but they've got an awful lot of power to keep prices high. Let me give you some of the numbers from this really excellent Which survey. Right. 8 supermarkets across the UK, 26,000 different goods. So we all know that inflation, general inflation, is just above 10%, and tomorrow we're probably going to see it go down into double digits.
Well, we hope so.
We hope so. That's the March number. But food price inflation is going in the other direction. According to this Which survey, in February it was 16.5% compared to 10% for general inflation. In March, on their survey, it was 17.2%.
And that's going to really affect poorer families.
Food price inflation is doing that. General inflation is doing that. And as you say, Andrew, the poor pay disproportionately for their food. So it affects them. Some numbers. A 50-gram porridge pot from Ocado, nice if you can afford it, up 66%.
Gosh. An
800-gram sliced white loaf from Asda from 56 to 94 pence. That's a 67% rise. 8 sausages at Asda up 73%. 8 sausages at Tesco up, you guessed it, by 73%.
And what has the old age pension gone up?
Barely, by 10%. I mean, that is a big increase because it's an inflation increase. If you're on a fixed income, it's really bad. And I think what we're going to see tomorrow, we're going to see confirmation in the official ONS numbers of headline inflation coming down, but food price inflation still going up. And as I say, I wrote about it in the Telegraph at the weekend. This is completely contrary to what's happening on wholesale markets. Now, we should say, of course, the big supermarkets deny this. Oh, we compete all the time. They're the best. You can't use that word because they're not here to defend themselves.
I just did. You can defend them.
They obviously deny that because that would be illegal. But I'm pointing out the big disconnect in wholesale food prices doing that, retail food prices doing that, and that is bad news for ordinary people.
Just explain what that means, because some people may not know the difference between wholesale and retail.
So wholesale prices are on global markets, the price of grain on global markets, the price of meat on global markets, and national markets, by the way. Farm gate prices aren't elevated, so the supermarkets are clearly making a lot of money. Farm gate prices have actually come down. As any farmer watching or listening to GB News will tell you, we should be interviewing a lot more farmers. We should have a whole show dedicated to farming.
And haven't we had the same conversation about wholesale gas prices and oil prices falling, but what's going into our...
I think there's a lot of...
central heating and our cars.
Ingrained anti-competitiveness, even restrictive practices across a lot of different swathes of the British economy. I'd say energy markets, I'd say... all kinds of retailing, particularly food retailing. I'm not naming individual companies here. What I am saying is broad trends. And the government should be all over this. And don't even get me started on the house builders.
Unless it's what they want. Unless this is what Jeremy Hunt wants, which is to put more money in the hands of the corporations.
The price of food is possibly the most politically sensitive issue that you could possibly talk about, even more politically sensitive than the price of energy and the price of housing. And there's no way the government is going to want this. But the supermarket lobby is really, really powerful. Remember, during lockdown, the supermarkets had a monopoly. Because a lot of the corner shops had to close for some reason. And yet the supermarkets stayed open. And I think that in the end, we need more journalists to analyse this and start talking about it, because it is a really big deal.